Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I am going to be discussing my ranking of the top 10 tight ends in the NFL. I have a list that includes multiple tight ends that are going to be potential Hall of Famers come in their future. I think all of these tight ends are incredible talents, and there's many more that are close to their level. In fact, it gets really hard at the bottom type part of the top 10 where there's a lot of competition between guys that had really good years last year, maybe didn't have as good of years, but they've been consistent in the past, so they're in consideration because of that. I think there's a lot of tight ends in this league and a lot to choose from. So if I left somebody out, let me know if you guys see anybody that I think or that you guys think deserves to be on the list. Starting off at number 10, going through number 1, we're going to start now. My number 10 is Evan Ingram, the tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is basically a wide receiver. He's only really a tight end because he is a good receiver. He's not a very good blocker, but he makes a lot of plays in the receiving game, helps out their young quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and is one of the key pieces to their passing game, as they do have a lot of good weapons for him. And I think the Jaguars are going to be a really good team in the 2023 season. They're going to be tough to beat. I mean, even last year, without Calvin Ridley, they made a run to the division round of the playoffs. I could see them doing that minimally. I think they could really push for an AFC title or even a Super Bowl this year. I think they're that good. I think the Jaguars are going to be good, part because of Evan Ingram. My number 9 tight end is Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. He put up 7 touchdowns last year with a 500-yard season. His receptions went down slightly. He had 52 catches compared to 60 the year before, but his yards went up and his touchdowns went up. He got an extension, a 4-year, $50 million contract extension to make him fair paid, I would say. I'd say that's actually a pretty good deal for the Bears because if he's putting up that good of stats year in, year out, I think that money is only going to be worth it more and more. I think he's going to keep getting better and more well fit in the Bears offense in the coming years. My number 8 tight end is Kyle Pitts of the Falcons. I think he's going to be used a lot better this year. I think towards the end of the year, Arthur Smith realized that he wasn't using Kyle Pitts to his best advantages, and he started to do a little better in the late part of the year. He's always been really talented, fast, physical, big, a nightmare for defenders, because if you put a corner on him, he's too big. If you put a linebacker on him, he's too fast. He's just a freak. And if they figure out how to use him, he's going to be torching and dominating the NFL defenses. My number 7 is Pat Freiermuth of the Steelers. Really good overall tight end who does it all to a good level. Since his rookie year, he's been really good, and he's only has gotten better ever since he stepped foot into the league in 2021. I think he's going to continue to be a good player. There's a lot of competition that is ahead of him. I think it's going to be hard for him to jump a lot of the players above him, but I think he can definitely retain his spot at number 7 for the tight ends list. At number 6, I have Darren Waller, who is probably one of the only people I see him having the ability to jump. Darren Waller was having a decent year. He did get injured a lot, as he always seemingly does. But if he can really put together a fully healthy season, he could be the number 1 target for Daniel Jones. I think there's no real wide receiver 1 or even really 2 quality players on their team that are real threats to catch the ball. But I do think Darren Waller is going to be a good player for the Giants. He's a really good pass catcher. He does it all, similar to Kyle Pitts, but I think he's a little bit more consistent than him. If he finds a way to stay healthy, he can get better he can get higher on this list, but he could also drop far if he couldn't stay healthy or can't stay to the level that he has been. My number 5 tight end is T.J. Hockenson of the Vikings. I think he's going to stay on this part of the list for a while. I think he's top 5. I can't see him getting to the top 3 anytime soon with the guys that are ahead of him. But I do think that he is going to be really good in a full season with Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and that Vikings offense led by Coach Kevin O'Connell in his second year. Things are only going to get better for that offense. But I do think the Vikings will take a step back this year, maybe even multiple, because their defense is not nearly as good as what it was last year. I can see their offense being worse too, because they did lose Dalvin Cook and they did lose Adam Thielen. But I do think that they'll still be solid on both sides of the ball, especially the offensive side. They can still put up a lot of points and be dangerous. The only question is the defense. I think the Vikings can contend for a playoff spot, but I do not see them actually making it come the winter time and when it matters most in January. My number 4 is Dallas Goedert of the Eagles. Man, are the Eagles stacked. I think he might be a little bit better. This is probably his height, because if he was on a different team, he probably wouldn't be as good, honestly, because there's not very many teams that have the skill guys that the Eagles do. And Dallas Goedert is definitely one of their best ones, because of what there is around him. And Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, all that, and the great offensive line that they have is just, the Eagles are going to contend. They're going to contend, and they're going to be contenders for a long time. My number 3 is my number 3 is Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. I think he deserves this spot because, other than last year, he's probably number 2, because Lamar loves Mark Andrews, and he gets the ball to Mark Andrews over and over again. Sometimes he even takes over games. That's how good he is. I think if he stays healthy and gets a full season and Lamar stays healthy, I think that the Ravens are going to see a lot of Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews connections in 2023. That connection is not going to get any worse. I think their passing game is going to get better with the additions of Odell Beckham and Zay Flowers. My number 2 is George Kittle. He's never going to be as good as number 1 right now. He may when he retires, but that's only because he retires. He's never going to actually surpass number 1. But he's number 2. He never has played for a great quarterback, honestly. But he still continues to be, probably, I will say, he is the most talented tight end in the NFL. He has so much talent. He's so fast, quick, really good route runner. But he's also, like a lot of the guys on this list, find problems to stay healthy, struggle against guys that are really locked down. But George Kittle, he's one of the best in the league. He's tier 1, but he isn't tier S. Kittle is not as good as the S tier that is above all on this list, and Travis Kelce is the best tight end in football by a mile, because he's simply the best at almost any skill you can name. He's the best route runner. He's the best receiver. He's the best blocker. He's the best anything you can name it. He is the best tight end in the NFL He does it all at a high level every year. He stays healthy. There's no weaknesses to his game. Travis Kelce is going to be the number one tight end until, I think, when he retires in the coming years. Let me know what you guys think of my rankings. Are they accurate? Did I miss somebody? See you guys in the next one. Bye.